I want everybody to feel that pain. That pain that's been inflicted by those teams in L.A., whether it's Giants-Dodgers 2021 in the NLDS Game 5, whether it's Warriors-Lakers last season, whether it's Warriors-Lakers playing game. I want you to feel that pain. And feel that pain this week heading into SoFi Stadium from that NFC title game in 2021. So that was a championship stolen from the 49ers. They're the better team that day. They're the better football team, but unfortunately, you got to play a 60-minute game. Can't be the best team for 50 minutes. You got to be the best team for 60 minutes. Could say the same thing about Super Bowl 54, right? Feel that pain. LA has stolen things from us over the past few years that has been ours. And it's beat LA week. It's LA week. I hate LA, all right? I'm not sure if I hate them more than the Seattle Seahawks. I'm not sure if I hate them more than the Dallas Cowboys. But I hate the LA Rams. And I hate everything about LA. So it's personal this week. Take it from Deion Sanders and Shedeur Sanders and everybody in Colorado. This week is personal. Well, that's how I feel this week, Shasky. This week is personal against the Rams.
The reason why the NFC Championship game, to me, is a little higher than all the other ones, the Giants one happened in the division round, not in the NLCS, so you didn't have an opportunity to go straight to the World Series. It felt like they were playing with house money because, no one saw that coming. And then you look at the Warriors, it's like, well, they already had the 4 championships banked in. They didn't play great ball.
Right.
By the end of that series, like, you could kind of see where this was going. It just felt different. Here's why that fourth quarter in particular sticks out for me in the NFC Championship game. Because Aaron Donald did what you haven't done. Closed out a game in the fourth quarter that way. That way. Putting an exclamation point on who was the better team that day. And that's the one thing the Niners didn't do last year, obviously, in the Philadelphia game. Yep. They clearly didn't do it in that NFC Championship game against the Rams. They sure as hell didn't do it against Patrick Mahomes in that fourth quarter. And I look at, obviously what Mahomes did in that fourth quarter against them, it's going to live on forever. And what Aaron Donald did in that fourth quarter and that final drive in particular, it's hard to swallow.
That was a depressing one. I remember all the Niner fans there at SoFi Stadium. We're all hugging each other saying, we'll see you next year. But it was deflating. Walking out of that stadium, seeing Miles in SF, our boy Miles in SF, God. Out of nowhere, just like, I don't know what to do. What about the kid who jumped in our IG Live and was throwing up middle fingers because he was so irate about the loss? I'm telling you, Rocco and I had to pick up Charles Haley. Charles Haley was at the club level with his head down, shaking his head, saying, I can't believe we blew this game. I can't believe. I'm like, Charles, it's okay, man. We don't win them all. I had to pick up Charles Haley for crying out loud.
Insane.
That's how bad that loss felt. And so that will never leave us until the Niners get back to the mountaintop and win a Super Bowl. Because the Rams stole that from us, Shasky. They really one of the more flukiest Super Bowl winners in the past 15 years. No, they were good. I thought they were done that year.
Fluky.
Oh, man.
It was the Niners and the Rams that year.
Dude, listen. I go back to that sequence that we talked about. 2nd and 1 at the 44-yard line. Elijah Mitchell on 2nd down gets stuffed for a yard. 3rd and 2. Trent Williams goes into motion. They give the ball to Kyle Juszczyk. He gets stuffed for no gain.
The same play they did, except with Debo instead of Juszczyk. Yeah. But Trent had the high ankle sprain.
He couldn't even move. He could barely move that day. So then it's 4th and 2. And then at the Rams 45-yard line.
I'm screaming, go for it.
And they go take the delay game. They punt it to the Rams 15. And then the very next play,
a bomb.
Sikorsky Tart drops a pick. The very next play. One hurt. That does hurt. It hurts more than the Dodgers. You're right. I'm with you there.
It hurts
more
the most.
than the Lakers series, no doubt.
It hurts the most. 4th and 2. If the same thing presents itself in the playoffs this year, is there any doubt he's going for it with Brock?
He's going for it.
You want to talk about the trust difference between the two? Right. I think it's never more clear than that sequence you just described to me, that entire 4-play sequence. 100%, 4th and 2, they're going for it with Brock.
No doubt. No doubt. By the way, our YouTube poll question of the day, which team do you hate more, Rams or Hawks? Rams or Hawks? 70% say Seahawks. They hate the Seahawks more than the Rams right now. Let's go to 49er Tone out in the Rich. 49er Tone, what's happening, man?
Tone?
Who do you hate, man?
Man, what's going on, man? It's been a long time since I called, but just let y'all know that I'm an everyday listener, man. Love being a roaster.
Appreciate you, Tone.
But this Rams week, man, I'm hyped up. It's a historic rivalry. I mean, this goes back decades, right? And the Bay versus L.A., even though when they were in St. Louis, I hated the Greatest Show on Turf teams. I just hate the Rams. Seahawks, they're right there too because it's bitter. I know it's more current, and of course that NFC Championship game that will forever hurt. But we got a little payback last year in the playoffs. But my most hated team, man, has got to be the Cowboys, and I'm gonna tell you why.
That's 3 now.
It's the most historical playoff rivalry in NFL history. I mean, think about it: 9 playoff games, multiple generations from the 70s to the 80s to the 90s until now. Multiple generations of 49ers fans. 6 NFC title games. The road to the Super Bowl goes through Dallas and San Francisco. It's the most historic rivalry, and I'm so happy that the NFL is back with the Niners and Cowboys going on the collision course.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to, from my grandpa with that candlestick when Preston Riley fumbled in 1972. That's what made the catch so important, right?
Yep.
Then we got that payback in 94. Then we got the payback the last 2 years. But real quick, I'm going to say one of the most underrated rivalries who I absolutely hate, brothers, and I'm going to say 2 names, and I'm still not over it. It's Leonard Marshall and Cal Williams.
Wow.
Okay?
Wow.
So
New York
I'm
Giants.
still not over the Cal Williams. And my dad and the older generation, because I was a baby when we lost the championship with a 3-peat. That is still one of the most bitter losses in our entire history. And Cal Williams, for me, that game, it still sticks with me. Have a good day, bro.
Hey, man, 49er Tone, thanks for calling, man. Appreciate you listening. That was a hell of a call. And he's on point. He's on point. The New York Giants lost in 90. Matt Barr making the 5 field goals. I remember Curtis Brown, my neighbor at 332 Waller, was wearing the hat 3-peat all day long, was wearing the hat 3-peat. And when that kick went through the uprights, I cried all day long, all night long. I couldn't get over it. I still can't get over it. I still have flashbacks of who's the little scat back they had. It wasn't Eric Metcalf. It was, who was it? Dave Meggett. Dave Meggett. I still get flashbacks to Dave Meggett catching little swing routes and little quick screens and control of the clock. I still got flashbacks of Belichick in a red starter jacket with the Giants across, shutting down the Niners. New York Giants, I do hate. That's a very underrated rivalry.
I have a card. I always talk about this card. I have a hologram card that you rotate, and it's Lawrence Taylor picking up the fumble of Roger Craig. I had to keep it because it's such a unique card.
There was so much finger pointing about that play. Roger Craig pointing at Brent Jones, Steve Young,
sequence.
Brent Jones pointing at fumbling, and Lawrence Taylor doing the first down sign, and that loss hurts.
I want to take you back, and I got some sound from Ronnie Lott that we're going to play here in a second. But like when you think of just closing your eyes, I do this closing your eyes game. Closing your eyes, Niners, Rams, guys who played for both teams. I got the whole list right here. It's 71 guys.
All right.
Some notable, most not. But who do you think of? Guys who suited up for both teams.
Oh, who I think of? Let's start with the Rams. Obviously, Jim Everett. Obviously, Kurt Warner.
No, I'm talking about suited up for the Niners and the Rams.
Oh, Niners and the Rams. Well, one guy comes to mind right away, and that's Kevin Green.
Kevin Green is at the top of my list.
Kevin Green's at the top of my list. Other Niners and Rams. How many Niners and Rams have been?
71 in total. More Billy Bajamas and Ray Armstrongs than you want to admit. Isaac Bruce is a name that I thought of.
And he can't stand the Niners now.
But he was a good Niner.
He was a good Niner, but he acted like he never played for the Niners.
I know. Amp Lee is another name, for example, to go way back in time. But let me give you 2 of the more notable ones for the older crowd. If you talk about the 81 Niners, there's 2 names that come to mind. Wendell Tyler, who was a running back who was very underrated.
Yep.
And then obviously Reynolds, who I was talking about earlier, Hacksaw Reynolds.
Right.
How did Hacksaw get his name? Well, he's playing fullback and linebacker for Tennessee. They lost the game. He went back to the dorm and sawed his car with a chainsaw. Hence the nickname Hacksaw Reynolds.
No doubt.
So he was a very, very good player for the Rams for a decade, and he goes to the Niners, all right? And this guy was a Pro Bowler when Pro Bowls mattered, okay? Not like now where everybody gets a Pro Bowl.
Right.
And it signified, like, because the Rams were the dominant team in the 70s. They had Deacon Jones, the Fearsome Foursome. Like, they were going at it. And
actually went to a Super Bowl, lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Rose Bowl.
Exactly. And so this is Ronnie Lott explaining how his mindset changed once he met Hacksaw Reynolds. Play the sound, Sammy.
sit next to him. I want to rub off on him. I want to, touch him. I
Pause.
want to absorb him. I want to be around him because I've known him. I've watched him. I had a chance to go see him when I was at SC. So here I am sitting next to him. Bill Wall says, I want everybody to take notes. Well, I don't have a pencil. I turned to Hacksaw. I said, Hacksaw, can I have a pencil? Please give me a pencil. Hacksaw says to me, no. I said, you got 100 pencils there. They're finally sharp. And he goes, no. And he had that look on his face like, no, I'm not giving, no. I said, why? He goes, you won't forget your pencil next time. That was an attitude adjustment for me. If you want to play with the big boys, bring your pencils. If you want to play with the big boys and be a part of his group, you better respect the game.
He's such a psycho. He used to be in full uniform at the team breakfast on game day.
Ronnie Lott is who I think
Right.
of when I think of Rams Niners.
Right.
Because of him playing for SC and how much it meant to him to face the Rams.
Think about Hacksaw Reynolds, though. The tone he used to set for the
he was
team.
nuts.
They said he was a psycho. He used to live at the facility out in Redwood City when they had the facility in Redwood City. He lived there. He would bring his pillow. He watched film all day long. He was in his uniform on game day, ready to play at 9 in the morning, full uniform. The guy was a psycho. But you see why those 49er teams won and why that helped Ronnie Lott in his years to become a leader for the 49ers defense.
And I think the reason why I wanted to play that was, number one, he was a Ram for so long and then became a 49er.
Yep.
I get the same sense of the current 49ers that I did those early 80s Niners, where it was, if you want to win, you better be serious.
Yeah.
Like, whether it's Brock Purdy, whether it's Fred Warner, whether it's Trent Williams, Christian McCaffrey, is there even a doubt about what the mission is this year?
Well,
is it
no.
about development?
No.
Is it about feeling good?
No. Shannon Sharp said
about
this
winning.
Shannon Sharp said this on First Take the other day. Thought it was very profound. He said, I played for Mike Shanahan. I've known Kyle since he was 12. Patience is not in their DNA. Hence why they move off a quarterback so quickly, right?
Yes.
But you look at that team that went into Pittsburgh, and we thought, oh, man, the noise, and there's so many distractions with the Bosa holdout and the quarterback stuff and this and that. They went out there and handled business. They were buttoned up, and that was an old-school 49ers road win where the Niners will be up by 28 at the half, and they're just eating the clock in the second half.
It felt like the old NFC West
Right.
days when they would face New Orleans or
Their Falcons.
Atlanta, and they'd be up 20-0
Right.
before you even ate cereal.
That was an old-school 49ers road win, and you're right. We know what the mission is. Steiny, when he walked in here yesterday, and I was like, Steiny, Super Bowl or bust. But I was kidding because I said, Steiny, it is Super Bowl or bust. That's in the back of our minds.
100%.
We're going to enjoy this ride. Like, I'm going to enjoy the Niners going down to SoFi and owning the Rams for the 9th straight time in the regular season and taking over that
Are
stadium.
you calling that?
I might as well. I'm here now.
Say it with your chest.
Seriously. Like, the mindset is, and it's going to be like that for the Warriors. We're going to play some Draymond Green sound a little bit later. Draymond's talking about, why can't we win 2 more championships? I love this setting now in the Bay Area. It's like New York City. It's like Boston. It's like Philly. It's like Chicago. It's like all these other big markets that get talked about. The Bay Area is about championships.
Except the Giants. They're about being the
Well, they're
third
Fugazi.
in row to maybe get the third wild card
Well, they
spot
got-
as we chase and look up at 2 other teams.
Well, apparently they got Phantom injured list, and they just throw players
I don't
on
even
there
wanna
just
talk
out of
about
nowhere.
I
but
feel
the
like
setting-
I've lost the audience bringing the G word up.
The setting for the Warriors and the Niners is championships.
I agree.
And as a fan, how can you not love that? I'm enjoying this journey knowing that at the end of the day, come January, if our team's not playing in January, we're going to ask you what the heck happened.
Well, and who's going to be held accountable?
Right.
And that's the old Eddie D way.
That was a button-up win on Sunday against Pittsburgh. So it was
Absolutely.
very impressive. Sure, the 11 penalties you want to clean up. You want to clean up McKivitz. You want to clean up Burford. But they ran the ball well. They took care of the football for the most part. Defensively, they tackled very well.
Well, I think the one thing that you'd be worried about as a Niner fan is like, okay, you have a huge win against the Steelers on the road where you pretty much dominate them in the first half, and maybe you took your foot off the gas.
Yeah.
Would you overlook the next opponent?
No.
I don't think you can in this situation.
The
It's
49
McVay, it's
Yeah.
Donald, it's the LA Rams.
It's personal.
Absolutely.
This is a rivalry.
And they have the championship you don't have.
McVay has something Shanahan wants. McVay's a guy running down to the end zone, jumping into the pile in the second quarter of a football game, thinking, yeah, I got you, Niners. I got you, blah, 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 blah. This is personal. And the Niners know what time it is. And they've highlighted this September. They've highlighted this September saying we cannot afford to get out to a slow start again because we want home field advantage. Well, you know what? You have a great opportunity to improve to 2-0, and then you play the Giants with a short week. You can have a long rest week getting ready for the Arizona Cardinals sitting at 3-0. That's the goal here.
This has got a 50-50 fan feel, too, in terms of it's going to be 50% 49ers.
A lot of Niners
I mean,
fans.
September in L.A.,
Flights started getting gobbled up.
did they?
Flights started skyrocketing in price.
You still got an eye for going down there?
I don't know yet. I don't know. I'm starting to get the itch because I hate L.A. I hate L.A.
See, here we go,
Mo
925.
Detroit. Go ahead.
The Rams have won championships in 2 different cities since the Niners won their last.
I know. And that ticks me
God,
off.
that hurts.
That ticks me off. Mo and